Good afternoon. It's 1:30, so let's begin our meeting. The first order of business today is to approve the minutes from the previous board meeting, which the board has had, on email, and we've reviewed it. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as we've read on email? Nancy puts forth a motion. Do we have a second? Tricia's going to put forth the second. Any discussion, further discussion about the minutes? All in favor of the minutes as we've read on the internet? Okay, all right. Minutes are approved unanimously. Let's move into the financials for management review. This will be Rita.
Click on the right one here. Alrighty, well, October was a pretty good month. Our total revenues for the month reached $523,521. When we look at our year-to-date revenue, we have a favorability of approximately $120,000. Our expenses for the month amounted to $414,673. This aligns pretty closely with what we had forecasted. Our year-to-date expenses are favorable to the budget by about $14,000. Our net income is currently $951,351, with a favorability of $134,570 compared to the budget. I anticipate that our net income for the year will be about 1.15-ish, something like that. We've still got November and December financials to go.
Any comments, questions from the board? No? Okay, go ahead.
All right, cash. Our total reserve has $2,746,173. Operating account had $464,450 for a total cash of $3,210,623. It's a good, solid position as we're going to much need it starting the big projects.
Yeah, when we start a major projects, we're going to be spending that. Okay. Comments from the board? No? All right. Let's move on, Rita.
All right, moving on to dining services. For the month of October, we served 6,180 meals, which means we've subsidized an average of $13.27 per meal year to date. I want to clarify that. There's a little bit of confusion on the subsidizing. So we have to recognize first that in our budget, it covers not just dining services, it covers the maintenance of the building, the activities, transportation, administration. So you have to look at everything. Also, you have to factor in the revenues associated as well. You just cannot look at the expense side and say, I'm paying $23.89 when I go to the dining room and eat a meal. And that the number of dining services also covers anything that is related to food and drinks, such as when you come to entertainment, food and drinks are served. If you come to a happy hour, food and drinks are served. So it's not just associated with the meals that you're sitting down in the dining room to eat. The concept of the dining room, initiated 38 years ago, was supposed to be to promote residents to come to the dining room for socialization. So that is why it's always been subsidized. I went back about 6 or 7 years, and prior to 2019, we were actually subsidizing over $20 a meal. So all in and said, when you go to the dining room and you eat a dinner for $11, that doesn't mean you're paying $11 plus $23.89. You're paying your $11. In the budget, $13.27 is being subsidized.
Comments from the board? Comments? No. Okay. Rita, go ahead.
Sales and leasing. This is what I know about. We've got 5 condos for sale, and one of the condos for sale could be for lease or sale. So technically, we've got 2 condos for lease.
Okay. Let's move on.
Alrighty. Well, today is our last general session board meeting for the year. The board and I have met a total of 33 times this year, and that does not include all the committees that each board member has met with that they sponsor, all the subcommittees that they're on. So there's been quite a few meetings this year. So we thought it'd be good if each board member would go through, the accomplishments, the goals that they kind of set for their committee this year, and what all they've been doing, just to kind of give you an idea of all the work. So you want to start with the architect? Sure,
we'll start with the architect. And as Rita said, there's been a lot of meetings, and we spent a lot of time with this. But anyway, several of the things the architectural committee has been involved with and are either underway or involved with or completed is Walker Engineering has been hired to evaluate the parking deck. A contract has been let on that to improve the parking deck, bring it up to standard. And that work on that, we anticipate that will start early December. I know we said early November to start with, but as things go, it looks like it's early December now. We've also approved the installation of roof anchors, and we are contacting the companies to get bids on that. We've selected a company we think will do the work, and we are in the process of discussing the contract to make sure we're all on the same page with that. Other improvements that have been made in the building are the basement wallpaper has been removed, and that's been patched and repainted. We've distributed some of the furniture from Koala that we received free, which is great to have. The dining room has been painted. The dining room walls primarily have been painted and repaired. The PCC has the salon up there has been repaired, modified, improved, and that is going to be in service here shortly because it's pretty well done. The spa is done, right? And then we have upgraded the beauty salon, of course, but that was kind of forced upon us by a water leak, but that's been taken care of. Beach Consulting has been contracted with to draw up drawings for the chases so that we can go to the city and get permits, and we can go to contractors and get pricing. So that is well underway, and we should definitely be doing, I heard that word definitely. Somebody said definitely. I heard that word definitely. We're definitely going to be doing that next year. So look forward to having that happen. We've replaced 3 HVAC units on the roof for the main connector, the PCC area, and the dining room. And these were replaced as a matter of maintenance because the life cycle on those had been achieved and we were having difficulty locating repair parts. We've replaced the lighting, or repaired, I should say, more the lighting in the parking deck, the upper level of the parking deck. Lights have been installed on the ramp leading from the east parking lot to the double elevators for improved safety. We've been and still are in contact with the city of Atlanta regarding our traffic light out here. And that is a major item that we are very well aware of. It needs to be looked after, and the city is working with us to evaluate whether we get one or we don't get one. That has not been decided, but it is definitely still something the city is aware we need. And of course, as you all know, the V elevator is being worked on, and that again is to be completed by the end of the year. This has taken a little longer than we all anticipated, but the individuals that are working on it are very, very meticulous, and they're doing a very fine job on that. So we look forward to having that completed by the end of the year. Those are pretty much the highlights on what we've been involved with on the Architectural Committee, and I'd like to pass the microphone to Diana to talk about operations and policy. Diana?
Okay. We have really worked to try and refine and clarify the real estate policy to comply with industry best standards and implement the MLS system, lock boxes, et cetera, and develop the policy for that. The board has organized policy and standards for the election cycle, including nominations, candidate practices, oath of office, code of conduct, and ballot language. We've drafted language to change documents to a real estate leasing cap, as well as a no smoking policy, which you'll see, I think, coming up, more information on that. And that's going to be presented to the owners for a vote in the December members meeting. And we've continued to evaluate and examine options for the dining room operations, once again in response to comments that we've gotten from the owners.
Thank you, Scott. You want to run us through some finance?
The finance team has currently completed the first reserve study in the history of MVT. This will list the building assets, provide a useful life breakdown of those assets with the possible replacement cost or the estimated replacement cost. This enables us to better plan for future property repairs and replacements, helps us maintain property values, simplifies the annual budgeting, ensures that funds are available for major capital projects, and hopefully will help minimize any future assessments. In February, the board commissioned a review of Mount Vernon Tower's internal controls. The internal controls are the process used to verify and secure our cash, computer systems, documentation, and accounting functions. Memorandum was included in I believe it was the February minutes for the owners to review. The finance team has also maintained the board has also maintained openness in the monthly financial reporting, with Rita going over all the monthly financial statements. And she has also created a model to finance major projects, and I think she went over this sometime this summer. It helps us minimize and prepare for any major projects we have, minimize the cost of it or the amount that we're going to have to assess if we do for the chases and the parking deck. Okay, finished.
Okay, communications, Tricia, okay.
We initiated Monday High Rise Living Series in February, offering nearly 30 speakers from inside and outside MVT with a focus on Q&A. Topics included healthcare, voter registration, cable service changes, maintenance, dining, Sandy Springs tourism, MVT elections, budgets, and more. We revamped the Towers Talk to improve appeal and reduce paper with an update from the executive director, streamlined activities and menu information to ensure broader participation in groups like book club, show and tell, and sing-alongs led by residents. Reactivated the Facebook page, established separate but linked website for PCC with text and images to go live shortly, created text and collected photos and images for an upgraded MVT website, created updated brochures for PCC and MVT, surveyed residents on topics of concern, tabulated responses, and shared content in a public program, standardized activity flyers and distribution, inventoried signs throughout the building to establish plan for replacement and addition of needed signs. Signs in the trash rooms were standardized and installed. The bulletin board in the mail room was reorganized to reduce clutter. Unnecessary signs were removed in case bulletin boards were installed in the elevators. We created a marketing plan to establish objectives and serve as a working guide for 2024 activities.
Thank you. Nancy, you want to go ahead with social activities?
We started an independent travel group that allows residents to travel to regional, national, and international destinations. We established a framework for a gardening group that will expand in 2025. We, board members met regularly with staff to discuss activity, calendar, and support ongoing activities. We've added trivia events, expanded Buy for Nothing and bake sales for the calendar. We reactivated the Welcome Committee, and we've held 2 volunteer sign-ups to identify interest and support for the library, the Welcome Committee, travel, gardening, readers for the hearing impaired, and other groups.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board on this or questions? Okay. I would like this point to kind of review what we just did in the executive committee, the executive meeting, so that you're kind of up to date on that. We looked at much of what we just talked about, of course, as far as accomplishments through the year, and we have set the meeting for the annual meeting, which is printed on the pages that you've received, and we have put forth tentative dates for the coming meetings in 25. Now, these are subject to change, so that could happen, but you'd be notified prior to that change. We also passed a motion that would restrict the use of scooters on the elevators. The scooters, the power chairs, scooters, whatever you want to call them, we passed a motion that reads, all motorized mobility devices are required to use the double elevators in the center of the building. Any violations will be subject to fines, damage to walls, and safety for all. I made the motion. It was seconded by Diana and passed unanimously. This was done because we've had multiple complaints about the operation of the scooters in the A and B elevator, because the elevators are barely large enough to get the scooter power chair in there and 1 or 2 other people. Also, we've had damage to the walls because the scooters are not that easily controlled for that tight turn. So the thought is that we could use the larger elevators, the double elevators, so that they would be safety for everybody and restrict or limit the damage to the walls. All right, we also went ahead and talked about the parking deck schedule, and Rita will be working with that, and when we get the parking deck timing for the contractor to start, we will be meeting with those people who are affected immediately in about 1/3 of the area, so that they will know they're going to lose their parking places for a little while, but how we're going to be handling that. That'll be handled separately and individually with those people. We also talked about some monies that Morrison has for us, because in our 5-year contract, they put aside some money, and we're looking at upgrading the tables in the dining room and what all is involved with upgrading tables in the dining room. Basically, the money that Morrison has, that we've been paying them over the last 4 years, we've been paying a little bit into a fund that's going to come back to us, and we will spend it on the tables. If we do not spend the money on the tables or something in the dining area, we could very easily lose the money altogether. So we're looking forward to getting some additional tables. And that's pretty much what we talked about in the executive meeting.
Scott.
Good.
Go
ahead, Diana.
I wanted to add that Rita will be contacting those individuals that are affected with the parking, so please don't call her. She will call you.
Yes, that's a good point. She will call you when we have a definite schedule from the contractor. Anything else from the board? Any new business from the board? Any other contacts? Rita, anything? No?
The annual meeting packets will be coming out on Monday. If you're an owner resident, you'll receive it in your door box. If you're a non-owner resident, you'll receive it by mail. But everyone that's an owner that's on my communication list will also receive it by email. And I'll be meeting with the floor reps on next Tuesday to set up appointments to come to each floor so we can talk to each floor and go over the packets and answer any questions that you might have prior to the annual meeting.
And of course, as usual, the annual meeting is owners only, no leasees, okay? All right, any other comments from the board? Comments? Well, let's open the meeting for questions.
I want to say
Go
one
ahead,
more
Rita.
thing
Go
about the
ahead.
dining room tables. We're not adding tables. It's most of all the tables in there are original. The bases we're always working on, so it would be replacing the tables, the current tables, with new tables. Also, by doing that, when in the finance committee we looked at, where are we spending money that we could cut the cost? Well, we've been spending $40,000 a year on linen for as long as I've been here, I know. So by getting nice new tables, we could start eliminating the linen as well and saving that money per year.
More comments from the board? Okay, no. Well, let's open the meeting then to comments from the audience. Any comments, questions? Again, please tell us your name and whether you're an owner resident, please.
Right Hardy, an owner. I was wondering if all units have a flood stop now on the toilets?
No. I would say about 60% have flood stops on the toilets. I've been in contact with the vendor who we've purchased them from. They went up quite a bit in price, almost doubled, but we will be placing an order. They were on back order, but they are available now.
Good, they're needed.
Ellen Musser, owner. As far as the dining room tables, the side of the dining room towards the pool is very difficult for people to get through when they have walkers and all this. I have a thought or two about how to change it, which, it's only my thought, but I think that there should be consideration of trying to get easier access through there. The second thing is, maybe I couldn't find it, but when I missed a meeting, I went online to look for the board meeting, and it seemed to imply that we can't view the video of the board meeting until it's approved a month later. Is this true, or did I misread it?
This is the same thing that we said the last month and the previous months. It's the minutes. The minutes for the board meeting from last month will not go on until today because the minutes have to be approved. The videos are on there. They're just in the second section down below. You have one section for minutes and one section for videos.
Thank you.
And as far as your comments regarding you have ideas for the dining room, sketch them out. We'll look at them. See what you got as far as the dining room layout goes. Any other comments, questions? Well, thank you. We're good. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Nancy has a motion to adjourn. Second, Tricia has a second. Any discussion, comment, additional? All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. The meeting is adjourned at 1:54. Thank you. See you at the annual meeting, December 16th.